you're contributing to the culture of honor in your home. And it can be in your home, or in your workplace, or in your school. When you sow that seed, you know that you're planting something that is going to produce part of the kingdom of God, which is a culture of honor. And what you sow, you will reap. There you go.
Okay, your children. How do you show honor to your children? I think this is an important thing to remember. You don't want to just reward for good behavior. Okay, there should be rewards. If they get good notes in school, there should be good rewards. I do believe in that. It's important if they do a good job in their cleaning or whatever, they should receive rewards. Okay, this is very important. It's important for children to learn what we call the work ethic, which basically means if I work hard, I get rewarded. Okay, and this builds a good sense of self-esteem. This is more important for boys than girls, but I would say both are important. However, honor is different. Honor is we recognize the value of the person, not just the value of what they do. Okay? So my wife can burn the fish, but she's still the princess of the Lord.
Yeah.
I may not be able to swallow the fish she burned, but it does not change her value as my wife. So I can still honor her even though the fish is burnt. Same with your children. They bring in a bad report card from school. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person, and it's so important as parents you make that difference. That you say, hey, listen, you're my son, you are a winner. You might be failing in math, but you're my son, you are a winner because that's who you are. You know, would your life be different if somebody had said that to you when you failed?
Yeah.
My life would be
Of
different.
course.
You know, but my dad was like, I'm embarrassed. You know, how could you do that? You know, I don't want to see you. Man, it's kind of like, are you kidding? You're my dad. You shouldn't speak to me like that.
Yeah.
Are you with me? You see, when you are dishonored, it really kills the life that's in you. And so maybe even some of us, we need to be healed from those things. Okay? All right. So let's not do the same for our children. Amen. Let's see the value that they are, just because they're our children. Okay. Now they need to be corrected when they do bad things. Amen. Just because they have high value. When my kids would do something bad, oh, believe me, I spanked a lot. Didn't I? Oh man, but never with the hand, always with a wooden spoon. Don't use the belt because it's leather, it hurts, okay? You don't want to hurt the child, you want to shock the child. There's a difference, okay, between shock and hurt. And you're not wanting to punish the child, you're wanting to correct the child. There's a difference between punishment and correction. Number one, you should never, ever, ever, ever correct your child in anger. If you're angry, you need to be spanked. Hello?
Yes.
Amen. Never, ever, ever, ever hit the head. Ever. Never hit the head. The head is too sensitive. Okay? You can really do damage. The reason why God made your behind so big is to absorb the shock. Okay? That's why. Okay? And so that's where you tap. And it doesn't take much. If they're, between 2 and 6, it doesn't take much. Okay? Of course, I see some of those boys. You got a couple of boys that are pretty big boys. Maybe 3 taps, you need to swing pretty hard to hurt one of those kids, okay? But the point is, it's to shock them and say, hey, listen, you need to understand, if you do good, you get rewards. But if you do bad, well, bad things happen. You don't want to do bad anymore. And I would always tell my children, listen, you are, first of all, a Baxter. And you can do better than this. You don't have to do this. You knew it was wrong.
Yes.
Usually, when they got older, like when they were like 5 or 6, girls mature quicker than boys, usually. But around 5 or 6, I would ask them, do you know that that was wrong? Look me in the eyes and I will know if you're lying. I didn't always knew, but that would scare them and they would tell the truth. And said, yeah, Dad, I knew it was wrong. Okay, so that deserves a spanking. But I was honest. I said, well, you're honestly wrong, okay? And you get a spanking. But if they said, no, I didn't know that was wrong, okay, now there's a problem. If the child doesn't know it was wrong, I've done a bad job in teaching them.
Yeah.
Amen? So I need the pom-pom.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Amen. Yes.
Okay? So then you teach them, okay, that is wrong. Now I'll give you only one little tap because you didn't know it was wrong. But now you do know it's wrong. If you ever do it again, it's 3 taps. Okay? Do you find we're giving you a lot here? Is this too much?
No.
Okay. But even if you have to correct your child, at the end, affirm his value. He's not a bad person. What he did is bad, but it doesn't mean he is bad. You see the difference? You love your child. Tell him, I love you. If I'm doing this, it's only because I love you. And you're better than this. And I know you're better than this. So that's why I'm doing this. So that you remember the next time you're tempted that you are better than this, you don't have to do this. You can say no to that temptation. Okay? This is all about honor, folks. Okay? All about honor, learning how to express the value of the person. Okay? And then the last tool, and we'll end and go get something to eat. Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
This is at a more personal level. So, being a student here in Paris, I do have a part-time job as a babysitter, which is very part-time, only Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, on the evenings. But because I'm not married and I don't have children, like the closest thing to a child, like my own child, is these 2 guys. One's called Lisa, she's 4 years old, and she has an older brother called Samuel. They're very different in several ways. I find that Lisa, maybe because she's younger, she instinctively trusts me a little more. She's much more developed at an emotional level, so she can get angry quickly, but she can also love someone dearly. I feel that from sometimes when we're watching a little video on YouTube, she's just gonna suddenly grab my hand and put it against her cheek. She's kind of she's a lovely girl like that. Although when she gets stubborn and stuff, you see all different sides of her. On the other hand, my question is more centered on Samuel. I feel like sometimes I don't know, I love Lisa more than Samuel because I feel like Samuel has already, he's only 6, but he's already defined me as employé, the person employed. So I sometimes find him questioning my ability to do my job properly. So I have lots of different instances where I felt a little hurt or a little offended by his reaction to whatever I did. For example, last time, I peeled some carrots for them to have as a snack, but Lisa, she had it right away. Samuel, on the other hand, he took maybe 10-15 minutes after I had already peeled the carrot to have it. So when he came to the kitchen, he looked at the carrot. It was already a little bit brown, and he questioned me on what I did to the carrot. So he was like, "What did you do to the carrot?" He was like, "This is your fault." He said it like that. So I explained to him that's what happens to some vegetables like apples and carrots. They brown when they meet air because he likes science and stuff like that. I explained to him in a very gentle way. I really I am very blessed to be able to stay calm when I'm in confronting this situation. But he kept his opinion on the fact that this was my fault. He said, "Mais c'est quand même un petit peu ta faute." He said it in that way. And then, you know, like in another instance, like we had just finished a carton of milk, and then I put it away in the recycling bin. He saw that the carton was just disappeared, and then he asked me, like, where did you throw it away? Like, did you put it in the recycling bin? You know, like, but these things happen on a daily basis, and it's kind of tiring me out. I always try to explain to him that when I'm here, I'm replacing your mom and your dad. So you can treat me like you do your mom and your dad. The thing is, his behavior is very different when he's in front of his parents and when he's in front of me. He always tries to teach me stuff, like how to do stuff properly. And when he's in front of his parents, he's not like that. Whereas Lisa, she's exactly the same. When she's angry at her mom, she's angry at her mom. When she's angry at me, she's angry at me. So I've been dealing with this, I don't know, lack of honor, lack of recognition of the authority of the babysitter, I guess. You know, ever since November, it's gotten better. It's gotten better, but I feel like, you know, like I'm praying for them, you know, every day I see them, and because they've lived in India for like 4 years, they have like so many little idols in their house, like so many, like I can't even count them. So I'm just like, in Jesus' name, like, I'm like going around and like, oh my gosh, they're all like little elephants on like their plates. They've got like lots of arms on the fridges or in their rooms, like above the ceiling. So
let me speak to, because there's about 10 questions.
I'm not you know, like in the glory of the Lord, like I would really like to influence this child in a
Okay, all of us have had the experience of going to school with the same teacher all year long, and then you get the substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are always certain in the class that are going to push that substitute teacher to the point of breaking.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just sort of in the nature of some to test others. It's just part of their personality, and you know, I mean, he probably did this with his parents when he was younger, and they had more time to impose themselves, and he got used to that. But he's probably that way with a lot of other adults, not just simply you. And so it is sort of the phenomena of the substitute teacher, okay? So you just have to expect it, be secure in who you are, and just throw it back at him. Hey, listen, next time I call you to come eat a carrot, eat it. If not, I'll throw it away. You know, or it doesn't matter to you. I don't have to explain to you what I do with milk carton. You know, but if your dad comes home and asks me, I'll tell him. So just be, you know, don't be on the defensive. Be secure. A lot of time, this may not be the case for you, but it is with most of us. When we have those feelings of insecurity, it's because we're looking for something from that person that they're not giving us. It might be reassurance, affirmation, sense of value. You just have to understand there are some people in this world, just the way that they're made, they will never give you value. So you have to determine right away, very quickly in the relationship, are you going to let that person identify you for how they think you are, or are you going to be secure in your own identity and impose that on them? Okay, so yeah, so just be secure in who you are, know who you are. You don't need his affirmation. Okay? If the parents are happy with what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And if he's never happy, tough luck. Yeah, and it's his loss, because you're an amazing person. You know? Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that about carrots turning brown. I mean, I find that amazing, you know? Okay. Does that help, Sarah? Okay, real quickly, let's go to tool number 5. And I already kind of spoke to it a little bit. So tool number 5, we're going to finish on something practical, okay? And that is how to make a few good rules. How to make a few good rules. Every family needs rules. Every group needs rules. And by the way, I thought you were going to ask me a question on how do you discipline children that you're babysitting. This is a common problem. Babysitters, my kids were babysitters. Your parents don't really explain what are the limits of your authority. Okay? And so what you want to be able to do is have a private moment with parents and say, hey, listen, these are some attitudes. I'm struggling with it. I'm not quite sure how to handle it. And I just want to make sure that I'm clear on what the limits of my authority are. You know, like if the older boy does something really bad that really does deserve a spanking, are you authorized to give a spanking? Most babysitters are not authorized to spank. Okay, you need to understand that. Okay, unless the parents specifically give you the wooden spoon and say, you do this, and they explain it to the child in the presence of the child and your presence. But even then, I don't like it. Really, because it can always come back to you. Then it's the word of the child against your word. And listen, the parents will always side with their children before they side with the babysitter. They really have to be very careful about that. I know a lot of you do babysitting, so just be very careful. All right, but in every group, you always have to have rules. Okay, if you've got a soccer team, you got to have rules. Basketball team, you got to have rules. Amen. Even in a friendship, your rules may not be written down, but you have rules in every friendship. You know, and if your friend breaks one of those unspoken rules, well, the friendship is over. You know what I'm talking about. So, and I think what's important in a family is to recognize, number one, rules are important. They really are important. Listen, all of us as Christians, we have learned that God has rules, doesn't He? The first 10 rules He gave to Moses. We call them the 10 Commandments. Those are rules. Jesus kind of simplified it and said, you know, I give you 2, you know, love God, love your neighbor. But still, those are rules. We might call them commandments, but you understand what I mean. These are rules of behavior. Okay? And I really believe that in a house you have to have rules. But here's rule number 1. Have as few rules as possible. Okay? You have to have them. But don't make a lot. Okay? Don't make a lot of rules. And then rule number 2 is never